Hey, welcome back, everybody. So, Kamala Harris, they want Kamala Harris on the Supreme Court. It's being floated out there. It started on one of these news networks. Forget which one, but we'll see it here. They want Kamala Harris to be nominated to go on to the Supreme Court. They want a retirement, and then Kamala to be nominated. I don't think it'll work. There's not enough time, but we'll get into it. Check it out. Okay, so we got that, plus we got FEMA. There's news about FEMA again. And the Ivy League schools are letting their kids take classes off to cope with the election results. I really fear for the future of this country. But let's get into it. So, like I said, Kamala, it's being floated out there that they want Kamala to be nominated to go to the Supreme Court. Now, the problem with this, in my opinion, is that for a nomination for the Supreme Court, it's got to go through all kinds of stuff in the House and the Senate. They have to be nominated. That they could probably get her nominated, but as far as everything else goes, before, because look, it looks like that the Republicans are going to take the House. They've already taken over the Senate, and Trump's in the presidency. So in order for this to actually happen and for it to be a reality, it would have to be pushed through so fast before anything else. I mean, I just don't think it's possible for it to actually happen. I mean, anyway, let's check this out. This is the article that I got, and this is from the Post Millennial, and it says calls are ramping up for the retirement of Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. The idea is that if she steps down, outgoing President Joe Biden will be able to appoint a new Democrat justice who will fill her shoes instead of risking her departure under Trump administration. Now, some pundits have even floated Vice President and failed President candidate Kamala Harris twice. She failed as a presidential candidate twice now, as her replacement. It was on election night after a Trump victory became apparent. The calls for her retirement began. Sotomayor should retire tomorrow and let the lame duck Senate confirm her replacement. Look, this is like I said. This takes time. It doesn't just happen. I mean, I don't think that there's enough time. They would have to forcefully push this through so fast that it would just be crazy. I don't think there's enough time for them to do it. It could. I mean, I guess that they could do it if they really wanted to. I just don't think there's enough time for them to pull it off. Maybe they could. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe they could, but it's got to go through the proper channels. Anyway, this would probably be a good day for Sotomayor to retire, said editor of the American Prospect David Dayen the day after the election. Other reports show that Democrats are divided on whether they should pressure her to retire. In July, Biden was pressured to pass the torch to his vice president and let her run for president. That failed spectacularly on Tuesday when Trump swept the battleground states, gaining the popular vote, the Electoral College, and won back the Senate for the GOP. Like I said, it looks like we're going to take the House too. So, that last I checked, they were at 212 to their 199. I think it's a good. It's trending, and there's a lot of races that still haven't been called. I think there was 20 odd seats, some odd seats that haven't been called yet. I think it looks really good for the Republicans to take that 218 that they need for the House. So, Politico said this is a hair on fire moment for the Democrats, and the talk of pressuring Sotomayor to retire isn't simply some flight of fancy happening among progressive activists online. It's a conversation members of the Senate are actively engaging in. They suggest that Michelle Childs, a DC DC circuit judge, who was already on Biden's short list, could be under consideration. I mean, think about this. I mean, think about having somebody who is as far left as Kamala is on the Supreme Court. That would be just nuts to me. But they're thinking that this could happen. So I don't know. This is a clip that I'm going to show you. This is one of the first guys that floated it. Excuse me. Check this out.
Liberal. And so I hope that Joe Biden makes the next 10 weeks as consequential as he can. I don't care about drawing outside the lines or what Republicans may think about it. This is within your purview. You can actually do it, and you should do it. And, one more thing, John, is you have a hell of a vice president right there who has a legal pedigree to sit on the Supreme Court, and let Republicans go crazy and ape. I'm even mentioning that option.
You're floating. Are you floating? This is 7:39 a.m. on the East Coast. Did Bakari Sellers just float Vice President Kamala Harris as a potential Supreme Court nominee?
Not only am I floating it, but I want to stir up everything. I want people's heads to explode this morning, so we go into the weekend just knowing that the chaos has not ended just yet. Liberal. And so I hope that Joe Biden makes...
Okay, so think about this also for just a second here. Kamala Harris, who has, as Ben Shapiro puts it a lot, has pretty much failed up her entire career. She's always failed up. Every time she failed, she got promoted. So she got her appointments in California. We all know how she got those. I'm not even going to get into it. Then she goes into the Senate, and she was clearly, everybody who said that knows her said that she was very, very, very far left. She was radical. She made a very nobody knew who she really was. She ran for president on the Democratic ticket and then got destroyed by Tulsi Gabbard in the primaries and then dropped out before the first vote was even cast. And then she got into the vice presidency off of a DEI hire. And then after that, Joe Biden was forced out of the 2024 race, and she was thrust into it. She wasn't duly elected. She wasn't put in there by the primaries. Nobody voted for her. She was thrust into that. And now she has lost the presidential race by a lot just because she is an unlikable candidate, and it was blatantly obvious the last time she tried to run in 20 and just got obliterated before they got through the first state of voting in the primaries. She's just an unlikable candidate, and they should have known that instead of thrusting her up. Now they say, oh, there wasn't enough time. Joe Biden should have stepped down sooner, blah, 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 blah. If they had held a primary, I'm fairly certain it wouldn't have been Kamala. The only reason that she got into that was because she had the money backing. That's the only reason why they just said, okay, let her be the nominee. So anyway, I don't see her being nominated for a Supreme Court. For one, Sotomayor she would have to retire first. I don't know if that would happen. I don't know if they're talking to her. I don't know about any of that. But as far as the story goes, there's talks all over the Senate about trying to get her to retire early or just retire. I don't know I don't know how old she is or anything like that, but I know she's in there and they want her to retire so that Biden can push through someone before he gets out of office. I just don't think there's enough time. At this point, the election just happened. The Senate's going to turn over. I mean, it's just I don't see it happening. I just don't. Anyway, moving on. We'll go on to this. This is so FEMA. This was broke by the Daily Wire. All right. This is nuts, okay? This is posted by Tim Pool on X. And right here it says exclusive internal messages obtained by the Daily Wire show a FEMA official ordered relief workers in Florida not to help houses with Trump signs. This This is for the aftermath of Hurricane Milton that just hit Florida. Okay. In the yellow highlights of this message, it says best practices at the top there. And it says avoid homes advertising Trump. Right there blatantly says avoid houses advertising Trump. So because it's a Trump supporter, they don't deserve help from FEMA. And they're just putting it right out there. How? Not how. Why? Why is it better? Not how. Because how is too easy. Why? Why would you put that? If you're that blatantly not, FEMA is corrupt, and we're all starting to see that. I went to the store the other day, and they asked if I wanted to donate to FEMA to help with hurricane relief. I said nope, because we all know now what they're actually doing. Okay, and it's disgusting. It's immoral. Just not to help somebody just because they're a Trump supporter. That's people's lives. I mean, getting help from FEMA would help feed their family, those children, anybody. I mean, the Hurricane Milton has taken, I think it was 24 lives. Okay? And for FEMA to just blatantly come out and say, we're not going to help people that are Trump supporters, that's just the ugliest, grossest thing I've ever heard in my life. You're so one-sided and ugly that you're not going to help somebody who needs help just because of where their political alliances are. That's disgusting and should not happen. FEMA needs to be gutted from the inside out. I hope President Trump takes a look at that and does something about it, because it's disgusting and should never happen. Anyway, this is just breaking to, like, I was getting a couple things ready for this video, and this just popped up on my X feed, and I just, holy crap, I gotta put this in. But check this out. This is on Timcast IRL tonight. He's talking about it. Check this out. As soon as I get it up here. There we go.
Story from the Daily Wire exclusive. FEMA official ordered relief workers to skip houses with Trump signs. Whistleblower. It's almost unbelievable to think that somebody in the federal government would think that's okay. Now, this is crazy. A federal disaster relief official ordered workers to bypass the homes of Trump supporters as they surveyed damage caused by Hurricane Milton in Florida, according to internal correspondence obtained by the Daily Wire and confirmed by multiple federal employees. A FEMA supervisor told workers in a message to avoid homes advertising Trump as they canvassed Lake Placid, Florida, to identify residents who could qualify for federal aid. Internal messages viewed by the Daily Wire reveal the supervisor, Marnie Washington, relayed this message both verbally and in a group chat used by the relief team. Multiple government employees told the Daily Wire. The government employees told the Daily Wire that at least 20 homes with Trump signs or flags were skipped from the end of October and into November due to the guidance, meaning they were not given the opportunity to qualify for FEMA assistance. Images shared with the Daily Wire show that houses were skipped over by the workers who wrote in the government system message such as Trump sign, no entry per leadership. Take a look at this. It says, implement best practices, avoid homes advertising Trump. And apparently this is going down only a few days before the election.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to come up with some kind of rationalization, like people with Trump signs outside their homes are more likely to be unfriendly and own firearms, and we're afraid of them. But regardless, whenever there's any kind of investigation or if these people are punished as they should be, we're going to be told it's a political prosecution, that we live in some kind of banana republic.
Completely
because every time they're held, bro, do you think I care? Do you think I'm saying it because I'm like, we can't do this? I don't want the liberals to be upset about our justice system. They're upset anytime anyone's punished.
Already, our good friends, the Krasensteins, are taking that statement from Trump's lawyer where he says, if Letitia James keeps violating Trump's rights with lawfare, they will put her in jail. And then he tweets, oh my God, oh heavens, this is fascism. They warned us about it. It's happening. And all the liberals are like, we knew it. And it's just laughable because anybody, you know, they're liars. They know they're liars. We know they're liars.
That's right.
The charges against Donald Trump have no underlying.
Okay. I guess they're just going into that. Look, I'm just saying, for FEMA to come out and just blatantly say that, why? And And it wasn't just in that message. They heard it verbally and on in writing, as it were. That's crazy. It's insane. And like I said, Trump needs to take a look at that for sure. These agencies are just, it's insane. Why would anybody? Like I said, I'm not partial to anything. If I'm biased towards President Trump, everybody knows that. But I'm going to tell you right now, if one of my neighbors needed help and they were flying a Waltz Harris sign, I'd give them help. Because it's the human thing to do. You don't alienate somebody just because of their political views. It's just not. It's not right. It's disgusting. Anyway, I don't agree with it, and they should be looked into, and they should be. I think there's some, that whole institution needs to be gutted and built back up from the ground up. So, anyway, moving on. Now, look, Ivy League schools are getting days off so that their students can cope with the election results of President Trump being elected back into office. Overwhelmingly. He took the popular vote, plus he took the electoral. They still haven't called Nevada or Arizona at this point, though he's still leading both of them. I still think he's going to take both of those, and it's going to be a clean sweep of the swing states. As I said before the election even started, I said I could be wrong, but I think he's going to take every single swing state, and that's what he's done. So, these students, they're getting coddled. And the first thing I'm going to say on the onset here, okay? How are you preparing these students for the future? How are you preparing them to prepare for the real world if you're letting them have a day off because their feelings are hurt because of the outcome of an election? Look, when Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, I got up for work the next day and I went to work. Was I upset that President Trump lost the election? Sure was. Did I go to work and continue living my life? Absolutely. Because that's what people have to do. In the real world, I had to go out and make money. I've got a family to support. I can't just take a day off willy-nilly whenever I just feel like it. Anyway. And the other thing I'm going to stress real quick, I know it's a little bit of a tandem. What about all the pro-Hamas supporters on campus and the Jewish students who were literally fearful for their lives, not being able to go into libraries or even onto campuses in some instances? What about them? There was no outrage for them, but I guess if your presidential candidate loses an election, then you have to take a day off. It's crazy. Okay, look. Professors at Harvard and Princeton have canceled classes following Trump's victory, and other units within the universities are offering spaces to provide the election spaces to process the election results. How crazy is that? These are adults, okay? Kids in college, they're kids. They're adults, though. At the age of 18, you're adults, and you need to learn how to cope with life situations that happen. Your presidential pick for the presidency, just because they lost, you get to have a few days off? Let me tell that to my boss, and he's going to laugh in my face. It's crazy, these people. Oh, my gosh. Okay, look. This is from, where is this from, man? The National, what is this? There's too much stuff on the screen. I can't even see the National Review. Okay. At Harvard University, the courses Psychology, 1156, Statistics for Social Sciences, Applied Math, 22A, solving and optimizing, and the general education courses, the ancient Greek hero and popular culture and modern China, canceled Wednesday class sessions, made attendance optional, or extended assignment deadlines, according to the student-run paper, The Crimson. Wild. Are you kidding me? This is insane. Just deal with what happened and move on with your lives. My goodness. That the first 30 minutes of a section meeting for the class Gov 1970 American Foreign Policy were dedicated to origami folding. What? Oh my, wow. Harvard economics lecturer Maxim Boyko said in an email that the in-class quiz for Economics 1010A intermediate. See, I'm college educated, and I never took that class, I can tell you that. Would be optional this week and further permitted students to take time off, per the Crimson. As we recover from the eventful election night and process the implications of Trump's victory, please know that the class will proceed as usual today, except the classroom quizzes will not be for credit. Feel free to take time off if needed. Wow. Just wow. There's all kind. Look, this is what happens when you have a generation of kids that grew up in this participation trophy culture, where they're never told no. Everything they do is great, and that this is what happens. This is exactly what happens. Anyway, I'm gonna show you a little clip here of just a few of the universities that are doing this crap. Oh my gosh, it's insane. This is from the National Desk, and this is on their YouTube. So check this out.
Meanwhile, Harvard professors are canceling classes because students are sad about the results. Washington University at St. Louis providing free therapy. The dean of Oklahoma reminding students to drink water and take intentional breaths. Georgetown University giving out milk and cookies, coloring books, and Legos in a self-care suite. We spoke with UNC Chapel Hill Jr., Conrad Bartenstein.
It's kind of alien.
Look, if you're having to give out milk and cookies and let people play with Legos to deal with an election, they're not 6 years old. They're adults. These kids are 18 to 23 years old in most cases. They're adults. They're not 6-year-olds. You're going to hand them Legos and say, oh, it's okay. Play with some Legos. We're going to bring you some milk and cookies. Are you kidding me? This is stupid. Anyway, it's crazy. Crazy. Anyway, I'm telling you what, it's... And he hasn't even taken office yet. Wow. Now I'm going to switch over to this real quick here. I'm going to end on this. Now, they're saying in the media that a big proponent of President Trump's victory is the fact that he went on podcasts like Joe Rogan, and the left doesn't have a Joe Rogan. Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, what's that Harry Sisson kid he's all over. I see him everywhere. Okay, so you've got him. And every time I get on TikTok, well, before the election, every time I got onto TikTok, there was I'd have to scroll through I'm exaggerating here a bit, but like 50 different live TikToks about Kamala is winning. Kamala is going to win. Why would you vote for Trump? All this like pro-Harris stuff on TikTok. That's all I'd see. So you can't tell me that there's not a media presence in favor of the Democrats, because there is. And the fact that, look, Joe Rogan, I don't watch Joe Rogan. I can tell you honestly, the only time I've ever watched Joe Rogan is when he had President Trump on there, and then when J.D. Vance was on there after him. That was honestly the only 2 episodes I've ever seen of Joe Rogan. No, I take that back. I think I watched like 30 minutes of the episode that Steven Crowder was on there. Other than that, I haven't watched, because honestly, I don't get down. The vibe of the Joe Rogan show. I don't get into it. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. That's all there is to it. I don't watch Joe Rogan. Like I said, the only times I've watched it was when President Trump and Vance was on there. And like I said, I think I watched like 30 minutes of when Steven Crowder was on there. Other than that, not a fan. I respect Joe. I think he is the number 1 podcaster ever. I mean, props to him. He's done a fantastic job. I like the guy. I got nothing against him. I'm just not a fan of his podcast. That's all. So I just don't watch it. But I got nothing against the guy. And as far as I understand it, Joe Rogan is just middle of the road. Like, I want to just do my thing and you leave me alone. They came after Joe Rogan. They wanted to censor him when he went to Spotify or Spotify. And they went after him. They loved Elon Musk until he bought X and made it more free speech oriented instead of being censored as it was as when it was Twitter. So, and I was watching Tim Pool's episode from last night from his Timcast IRL. He's still over there at the Daily Wire studios, which is cool. I think he's got to be having a blast over there, I think. But anyway, I was watching him last night, and he straight up said, "Look, you had a Joe Rogan, and his name was Tim Pool, because Tim Pool's not a Republican by any means. Yeah, he's come out and he said he's voting for Trump, but that's because there's all these people, and it's not just Tim Pool, it's a lot of people. A lot of people has said, and this is exactly what they're saying is, I didn't leave the left. The left left me. That's what they're saying, because the left has gone so far radically left, and these people don't agree with it. It's just they've gone so far left to the radical side of it, where it's like the small percentage of these radicals make the most noise, and because they make the most noise, people think it must be a lot of people, and it's really not. It's not. So this is just them talking about this, and I don't agree with it one bit, because like I said before, there's a lot of left-leaning alternate media out there.
Particularly the media ecosystem it's not a good one, it's a negative one, it's a radicalization funnel. But what they have done in their online media ecosystem is build a radicalization engine, literally the way militant groups do around the world, that takes people from relatively low-level annoyances with the world. Why are eggs so expensive? Why is my kid learning this new thing in American history in school that I didn't learn? And then moves them through YouTube videos.
Why is that bad? Tell me why it's bad that people are expressing their opinions about the fact of why groceries are so high and why their kids are learning about things they shouldn't be learning about in grade school. Tell me why it's bad that people are raising those questions.
Videos, through podcasts, moves them from that annoyance all the way slowly to a full-blown fascist politics. It's an elaborate multi-billion-dollar infrastructure, and there is nothing like it on the pro-democracy side. We don't have when a man is just lost and lonely and not yet radicalized, we don't have the equivalent of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson to move that man in a feminist direction. By the way, we should educate men that it's actually really great to live with a strong woman who makes money. It's actually easier. Life is easier.
But I think
Look, I don't disagree with that. Look, if my wife wants to go out and get a high-paying salary job, that's fine with me. I'm fine not being the breadwinner. I was raised more traditional, and I feel like I should be the breadwinner. But if she wants to go out and be the breadwinner, I'm fine with that. She can make more money than me. I don't care. She's a very strong, independent woman, and she If she wants to go do that, that's fine with me. I support her 100%. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't know why these people think that we don't think that that's not okay. It's because it is okay. Not, especially in today's economy, you need two incomes, and I think that was intentional. But that's a whole different story. So, oh, these people are nuts. They're just crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Keep an eye on the news. Hey, it's I'm having fun with all the liberal meltdowns. I'll say that real quick. But anyway, if you like what you saw, hey, follow, subscribe. Appreciate you hanging out, especially this long. Sometimes I get in a rant, and but I appreciate you hanging out. Y'all have a beautiful evening, and I'll see you on the next one.